All right, let's talk about some of the exam problems for on range and coefficient of range for the MSBT uh, paper. And we already covered the range and coefficient of range in the previous episodes, so just check out that. And as a quick recap, in the for the overall strategy, if you recall, the overall statistics, although the official marks is 14, but the actual questions in terms of weightage, if you take any paper, it comes anywhere between 16 to 20. It's safer to assume that you'll at least get 16 marks worth of question in the paper, and that's how you need to prepare. And out of that 16 marks minimum, the range and coefficient of range put together, this both these topics will be for 5 marks. Okay, so typically you'll get one question for 2 marks followed by another question for 3 marks, and we'll see that if you see here in type 1. And we're going to talk about 3 types. The overall statistics is grouped into 3 types, and we are just discussing type 1 in this episode. In the next 2 episodes to solve about range and coefficient of range, and then these other 2 types I'll explain later once I kind of explain the concept. So just based on the range and coefficient of range type 1 problems, you'll get 2 marks on the ungrouped data, and you'll get 3 marks on the group data. Total a 5-mark question, 5 out of 16, and it's an easy score, and we should not miss that. And some of the interesting things will be, um, you'll get this is your 2-mark question. For ungrouped data, you will just get a series of numbers, no grouping, and you will have to find the range and coefficient of range. And then for 2 marks, and over here you'll get for 3 marks in question 6. Usually you'll get some group data with class intervals, and you have to still find the range and coefficient of range. And this particular problem, if you see, it has repeated many times, at least 2 times. If you see this over here, it's repeated. So typically there is not a variety of problem, it keeps on repeating, so it's very easy. So what we'll do is, in the next 2 episodes, I'll put one episode just solving this 2-mark questions where we find the range and coefficient of range for the ungrouped data, and then I'll put a separate episode for the group data for 3 marks. That way in 2 episodes we'll cover pretty much all the problems, and we'll ensure that you seal your 5 marks in the examination. So watch out the next 2 videos on range and coefficient of range. Again, we're talking about just problem type 1 on statistics.